Lindsay, I know Spenny did a great job on the prep, but I got to ask you a question. You played with Chauncey Billups, correct?
Yep.
You guys, you were teammates.
Right.
The other day I made a comparison that Jared Goff is kind of the Chauncey Billups of this team. He was a guy that was drafted high, kind of thrown away by the first team that had him, didn't really want him. Took a while for him to come into his own and develop into what he was destined to be with that high pick. But now he's got a tremendous team behind him, like you pointed out, and we can make the comparisons a little bit after they win a championship to the 04 Pistons. And he's the leader of it. He's kind of the head of the snake, and he's the calmness.
Similar. I think Chauncey went through a bit more adversity. You know, if you want to be more specific, because he was tossed around a lot.
Yeah, he went to Minnesota,
Orlando.
Yeah,
he was everywhere. You know,
Rick Pitino, man, what a dick.
Dude, he got like $80 million for that deal.
Okay, not that much of a dick. Trade me everywhere in the United States for $80 million.
No, I'm not talking about Chauncey. Chauncey ended up getting paid, but Rick, think about it. They gave Rick like $80 million to go coach the Celtics and destroy the organization for years to come.
Yeah, draft Chauncey number 3 and then trade him without even playing him.
No, he tried, but Chauncey didn't fit in with all that rigmarole. Nobody fit in that rigmarole trying to trap and press in the NBA, buddy. This is not college. Cut it out. Go back to where you can cheat.
But you mentioned in the first segment, this is team vibes. Are you getting that kind of feel with the Lions?
Well, think about it. We kept hearing things out of the locker room earlier on this season about how the bond was there, how the guys are working, and it felt like a family, environment. When you start think about, you don't hear about those things, and I know winning covers a multitude of sins.
It helps.
It always does, because under winning, there's always a thin sheet of turmoil somewhere in every organization. But hearing how they were going about their business, how guys were welcoming new guys in and showing them the way that it's done, that is a recipe to have success, because now you have people that are policing themselves. And anytime, and I know it's a cliche, when teams police themselves, they just become better, but it's true. When you don't have to, as a coach, stand over your guys and make sure everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, then you can coach.
Right.
And that's what I think the Lions represent more so than any time ever.
No, and I think you bring up a great point, because whenever you're seeing all these social media clips, and social media really has given us a great insight into the locker room, how these guys interact, what the game ball speech is like after the game, and you're seeing them dance with each other and posting it on their own social media about how much of a good time they're having as teammates. And that, even outsiders like my fiance, she's not a big football person, right? She has become over the past couple of years by dating me, because that's all that's on in my household is football.
Right. Good woman.
Yeah, no, she tolerates it very well. So thank you very much, Corey. But, like, even when I show her clips, she's like, man, it looks like those guys are having a lot of fun together. Yes. And you saw it in Hard Knocks with the Aiden Hutchinson, Billie Jean, how the whole team is up dancing with them. But you even see it afterwards and today. The first person hugging Jared Goff when he comes in the locker room, Panay Sewell.
Right.
You just see this bond that's special, and that creates a different animal.
Well, I think we can look at the 4 teams that's left, and I guarantee you, if we go and take a microscope and look inside of each one of those locker rooms, you'll see the same variables, because all of those guys know what it takes to get there and win, and they know what it takes to help your brother and be there for them when things aren't going so well for them, and that's what makes a special bond and a special team.
You don't have to say what team it was, but have you ever played on a team that was successful but wasn't very together in the locker room?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm assuming it's the Lakers, but I'm not going to make you say it.
No, I will say it. It was the Lakers. It was the weirdest thing.
Surprise.
But see, and that's the thing, like, you very rarely you get talent assembled that great.
Right. They're all alphas. It's tough.
Yeah, you get a prime Kobe and a prime Shaq on the same team. I mean, come on. You don't have to be friends with it. We go out there and we throw it up, and Shaq, was unguardable. So that's how many times do you get that lightning in a bottle?
Right. That's special.
Yeah. Or you got a guy like Michael Jordan who can punch people in the face and cuss everybody out and tell everybody but that's Michael. Like he's gonna win. You know.
So there's exceptions to every rule.
Exactly.
talent will always prevail.
Exactly. You know, at that extreme.
Yeah.
You know, but most of the time, you know, and like we just talked about, you can count those type of teams on one hand, maybe.
Right.
You know, but.
And I can count the team that broke up that dynasty on one hand.
Definitely. But normally, you know, you get teams that is like that. It's like a family environment. It's like a bunch of, you know, band of brothers. Because I knew the thing that I was hanging with Chris Webber the other night, and we were talking about him coming to Detroit and experiencing our locker room. And he was like, dude, I've never experienced anything like, because we were so accountable to each other. Like, we could say anything to anybody.
Number 88, Chris Webber.
Yeah. I don't know why you were 88.
Oh, man.
But he was just shocked. He was shocked at how our approach was to one another. Like, because it was no holds barred. It was like, no, you fucking up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And guys didn't take it personal.
And that's the way it needs to be, self-accountability. Once you get a bunch of grown-ass men together, it's a whole different story than guys that won't be accountable for their actions, guys that are pushing off blame to other people.
Exactly.
And sometimes you see that trickle down from leadership.
Yeah, no doubt. And the hardest thing in a professional environment is to get that self-accountability with a bunch of millionaires who've been spoiled the whole time. Because now, what the hell, who you talking to? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that could easily creep in. I've seen that also.
Yeah.
You know, so it's special when you get a group like the Lions. It's special because you have that, and it's hard to get that. People think that you take it for granted when you got it, but it's hard to get that.
Well, that's when you got to give credit to the GMs, right?
Exactly.
You got to give credit to Joe Dumars, who built that 04 team when all those guys were accountable for each other. You got to give it to Brad Holmes, obviously, because that's part of it. I was watching. I wish I could remember which player it was, and I don't even know if this guy's in the league. But he was talking about how when he was trying out for the Lions, they pushed him harder in 20 minutes than any other team did. Like, other teams would let him have water in between drills, and this one they just like, no, next one. And he's like, and they wanted to see if it like pissed you off, if your shoulders dropped. And he's like, by the end of it, I went up to shake Dan Campbell's hands, and I had snot dripping out of my nose. And he was like, but they want to see. They're reading body language during those drills. It's not like that you can do it in a 4-5. It's that, can you do it repeatedly and not bitch about it, right? And now these guys, you draft them, they have that mental fortitude that other dudes don't have. That'll quit. That'll throw their fucking hands up when things aren't going their way. And those guys are cancers for teams.
And it's so crazy you say that. Me being on the scouting side of things, going through those similar situations, trying to find out all the things you just talked about. Trying to find out what a guy, because most of the time when you're scouting, you know a guy can play.
Right.
Like, you know the talent is
He's
there.
a dog, right?
Yeah, like, oh, he's an animal between the lines. Well, but what is he like when things don't go his way? How hard does he work when the lights aren't on?
Right.
You know?
Right.
What is he like in practice? How does he react when the coach isn't happy with him? How does he interact with his teammates? I've watched guys lose a lot of money because of simple things like watching them during a game and they get pissed off at the team and they go off and you watch and you go, oh, well, let me mark him off. That won't be a first-round pick for us. You know?
Yeah, because those guys can ruin cultures.
Yes.
They can definitely do it.
Yes, and Brad Holmes has done a admirable job at sticking to the script, saying, hey, this is what I am. This is who I am. I'm going to build this team accordingly.
Yeah.
And Dan Campbell fits that mode as a coach. And when you have all those things aligned, you have a recipe for sustainable success. You know?
God, I just can't believe we're here. I mean, like, it's still, every once in a while as a Lions fan, I understand how we got here, and I'm very proud of that. It's just, even if it was believable, it wasn't believable, right? It's like, how hard that mountain was to climb. And then you bring in these two guys, well, multiple guys, because you got to include Chris Spielman, you got to, Sheila Hamp, but you bring in these two core pieces, and in 3 years, 3 years, we're about to smack the shit out of the 49ers.
Yep. Good luck. Hey, but anyway.
Damn it, I thought I had him. Oh, I'm going to get him before the end of the show.
Hey,
I'm going to get him.
But here's the thing. No, and here's the thing. You could have a really great owner with good intentions, but if he doesn't hire the right president, GM, coach. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Because if I'm hiring you as an owner to do a job that I trust that you know what you're doing and you screw it up every single time, I'm screwed. And being screwed means that could last for years. It takes a lot to clean up cesspools like that on bad organization with bad contracts, bad players. Shit takes forever to clean up. But when you get the right crew in, it's like Pittsburgh. Everybody wants to complain about Mike Tomlin.
Idiots. Absolute idiots. If you complain about Mike Tomlin, you don't know a damn thing about anything.
And we're sitting here listening to people say, it's time for Mike Tomlin to move on. Why?
Right.
Well, I mean, tell me why. Like, he's winning too much? With paper mache quarterbacks?
And honestly, like, that's why I got so frustrated when Caldwell got fired. Because it's like, you fired this guy, why? Because he had a winning record?
Yeah,
We're the Detroit Lions. Are like, who the hell do we think we are? 9-7 wasn't good enough?
Right.
It was for a long time. Now, but I wanted that to be the floor. And it's like, okay, if 9-7's our floor, then I'm cool.
And I thought Caldwell had done a great job, and I thought he probably should have been allowed to continue, but they didn't, and things have worked out. But talking about how they've constructed the front office, the head coaching, and everything all the way down the line, man. It all is in alignment, and that is so rare. That's why every year we talk about who's going to win the Super Bowl. It's only 4 teams that really, truly have a chance to win it. Every year you look at it and go, yeah, those 4 teams those 4 teams have a chance to win it.
Yep, the 49ers will be there, but we most assured they won't win it.
Oh, you sure?
I can only go by recent history. I can only go by recent history.
But you said they'll be there. Okay, I know.
Yeah, they will. They're there. They're there amongst the Final 4, aren't they? You thought I was talking Super Bowl?
That's what you said. That's what you said.
He thought I was talking 49ers.
No, you slipped up. I was just trying to help you correct yourself.
Oh, this guy's a joker. Get a load of this.
They'll be there, but they won't win it. Oh, thank you. I know. I'm sorry.
They're there amongst the Final 4 yet again.